One of the great things about a conference, especially like Fiber Connect 2021, is just running into people and these casual conversations. Michael Render, it's been a long time since we spoke, but you're kind of the godfather of understanding how many fiber passings are out there.
We're up to about 54 million, and this is as of September of last year in the U.S. alone. And in 2019, we had a record year of annual connections. So really coming along. Last year was down just a bit as some of the large providers tailed down their deployment, but big plans from many people across the spectrum for 2021 and beyond. So it's really going to be upticking.
Yeah, we've heard that from Gary Bolton multiple times in the conference here about how this is kind of unprecedented, the investment.
It really is. You know, when you look at in a 5-year period, I can't remember the exact numbers, but we're going from something like 11 million in a 5-year period to 27 million, and we'll be more like 45 million in the next 5-year period. It looks like, barring too many constraints, even without the infrastructure build. So, you know, it's really hitting on all cylinders. We've got all the large ILECs fully engaged now, realizing that they really need fiber. We've got some of the cable companies starting to overbuild. We've got, you know, rural electrics building in a big way, municipals either building or partnering with private providers, and you know, all across the spectrum. So I think as Gary has said, the world has really realized that fiber is the answer, and if it's not broadband, if it's not fiber, it's not broadband. So.
Well, it sounds like we could be over 100 million midway through the decade.
We could. You know, we're really getting to the point that we'll be highly penetrated, you know, by the end of the decade, and you know, that leaves the reason to try to reach out to the areas of less adoption and the digital divide, urban digital divide, low-income digital divide, and also, of course, the rural digital divide, which is really where we're going to have left after the next 5 years or so.
You just moderated a panel, or we're on a panel, about what do you do now? Now that you have the fiber in there, what happens next?
Right. Well, we did some work, you know, in our work for the Fiber Broadband Association. We do consumer studies and so forth, and from that we can look at net promoter scores in terms of satisfaction. And, you know, fiber customers have a higher net promoter score clearly than cable and DSL and satellite and so forth. But it is very important to go beyond that, because you know, while the net promoter score for fiber providers is good, it's not, as a rule, there's some exceptions, world class. So while you have the best technology, you need to add on top of that making sure the in-home experience is the best possible with Wi-Fi extenders and so forth, and customer service is world class. You know, invest some of that money that you're saving on lower OpEx from having fiber, invest it in a little bigger call center, maybe, you know, have a 1 minute, 2 minute window for answering the calls, have human people that really are knowledgeable, have service windows for getting out there, all those kinds of things that are the soft side, but added to fiber, then you have world-class satisfaction net promoter scores, which is important for the customer and also ultimately important for the company, because that means less churn, higher profitability ultimately.
Yeah, I think we heard that at the conference, the whole idea you can get a gig to the side of the house, but really the problems then are in the house, right?
Right. So you've got in-house problems, both at maximizing the efficiency of the individual devices, and of course Wi-Fi is a big issue. You know, in our study, we took fiber customers and looked at the ones who have Wi-Fi extenders or additional Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi mesh networks and so forth, versus those who just had a single device. And it was about double the score for those who had a better Wi-Fi system. So Wi-Fi does make a difference to that customer experience. So that's one of the things to solve, you know.
Does layering on new services, is that part of the equation as well?
Sure. Layering on the experience, both from the point of view of the customer having a better experience, and, you know, of course, increased revenue for the provider.
Well, Michael, it's been great catching up with you, and I appreciate your time.
Great. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.